What did he say about what's kind of fueling his impressive playoff run?
Well, Sage, he's been incredible. He also, beyond the 2019 log he had in Game 1, it was also his 5th time this postseason where he shot more than 10 attempts and hit 80% or better, tying Shaquille O'Neal for 2nd place over an entire postseason. These are heady numbers we're talking about. And he said when he talked to the team doctor after the game, he expected to maybe be banged up a little bit after going against Giannis and Brook Lopez. But the doctor said, you're checking out just fine. And the reason is Deandre Ayton Jr. He became a father back in March, and the team doctor told Deandre, you have dad power now, and certainly it's paying off. He said that he feels like he has more stamina and mental acuity and also a growth and maturity, and that stemmed from being a father at the age of 22. Now, the backup center for the Suns is in more question. We know Ayton's going to bring it, but what do they do at backup center with Dario Saric going out for the rest of the postseason with a torn ACL in his right knee? Monty Williams says they have 3 options to go to. You can go to Frank Kaminsky, who's more of a traditional backup 5. And then they also have Torrey Craig, who got 16 minutes in Game 1, only had 2 points and 3 rebounds, but he allows them to play small ball. And then you have Abdul Nader, who was out from March until the Western Conference Finals, but he's kind of a sturdy, burly body, but also can play more of a small ball position. So they have some options. No team wants to lose a piece that they trust this time of year.
Sure.
So that's what the Suns have to deal with moving forward.
Yeah, and one of the most impressive things about the Phoenix Suns is their depth. So we'll see if this affects it at all with Saric going out. Dave, thank you. Enjoy the game later tonight. Let's keep it going with David.
Okay, Sage, Giannis, a surprise starter in Game 1 coming off that knee injury. Wasn't his dominant self, as you mentioned, 20 points, 17 boards. Also had that one chase down block, which showed the knee is feeling better. But the Bucks are going to need more out of the 2-time MVP. Here's what they're saying before Game 2.
Going to Game 2, hopefully I can feel more comfortable, more confident to be, to go downhill, to make more plays. We'll see. I don't know how tomorrow is going to be, but hopefully I can be in a position that I can make more plays tomorrow.
Looking at the film, he's like everybody else. There's some things that he can do better, and there's some things that he did well, and same as our group. And I think the thing about Giannis, he always gets better.
All right, let's bring in Tim Bontemps, who's covering the Bucks, and he joins us now. So, Tim, usually in a finals, Game 1, a little bit of a feeling out process. Got to make adjustments. So what are the Bucks saying about the biggest changes they need to make heading into this one?
Well, David, look, there's been a lot of talk about the free throw disparity between these two teams in Game 1. The Suns shooting 26 foul shots, the Bucks only getting 16, and only 3 guys on Milwaukee going to the foul line at all. But in talking to the Bucks yesterday, the biggest thing that came up over and over again was transition play and transition defense in particular. You think about Chris Paul's Phoenix Suns. Chris Paul throughout his career has been on teams that have been, methodical, slow-paced teams. The Bucks, on the other hand, get out in transition, run up and down, and typically dominate in that part of the game with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, we saw in Game 1, Giannis said he needs to play a little better. He could have been a little more aggressive in that part of the game. But the Suns outscored the Bucks in transition points in Game 1, and that's not a recipe for success for Milwaukee in this series. So, both P.J. Tucker and Drew Holiday stressed the need to limit turnovers and stop the Suns from getting out in transition and getting easy baskets if they want to even up the series tonight.
Yeah, the Suns scored 20 fast break points in Game 1. That's the most points they've had in a postseason game in 11 years. Tim giving us the Bucks side of the story heading into Game 2.
I want more of that, so let's say hello to 2016 NBA champ Richard Jefferson back live with us on SportsCenter. RJ, plain and simple, the Bucks' biggest priority tonight. What should it be?
I think it's offensive, consistency. They have to start spreading that ball around. When you look at the best version of this Bucks team, you've seen 25, 22, 27, 19. You got to have a better distribution. That's what makes the Suns so hard to guard. As much as you want to focus in on Chris Paul and you want to focus in on Devin Booker, they have balanced scoring throughout. Ayton hurts you. You get, Bridges that can hurt you. So, ultimately, I think that's when the Bucks are at their best, when they have, 4 to 5 guys that are between, 17 and 25 points.
All right, you mentioned Chris Paul. Let's listen now to what he said yesterday about what makes his team so difficult for other teams to game plan for.
Our team is built a little different. We have a real team, like a team where, You can't just key on one guy or two guys. Everybody on our team is capable of having a big game, and everybody is comfortable and accept their roles.
That word team is everything in every aspect, and this Suns team does exemplify that. It's a very balanced attack they've been able to have this postseason, RJ. How has Chris Paul specifically been able to benefit from that, especially in the fourth quarter?
Well, it's so funny. You hear it more and more often said in media that it's not just about doing your role, but doing your role with enthusiasm. And everyone on the Phoenix Suns team accepts their role and they do it with enthusiasm. When you look at the way they balance out their scoring, you look at it, LeBron James, Chris Paul, even when I played with Jason Kidd, it was about getting others going early, establishing other people's rhythm so that in the fourth quarter, that's when Chris Paul's able to go to work. He's able to get those free throw line jumpers. Why are those free throw line jumpers available? Because you're so focused on Ayton's role, because that was established in quarter 1 through 3. You're so focused in on Devin Booker, or you're focused in on Bridges, or you're focused in on those guys. So now the court is spread wide open. Then it turns on Chris Paul to deliver. And that's what Chris Paul has been doing an outstanding job of all postseason, is delivering once it's his turn. Once those guys have that floor spread for you, then it becomes layup, floater, free throw line jumper, and he's been knocking them down at an exceptional rate.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.